Welcome back to the channel. I am Brad with Fine Tuned, and today we are showing you guys how to do an 8-speed transmission service on your BMW. All right, so today we have a 8-speed transmission service kit from FCP Euro. We have the pan here. So the pan, you remove those from your vehicle, you throw it away, you recycle it, do whatever. But basically the filter is built into the pan on these vehicles. So it has brand new magnets here to collect any metallic particles. Nice filter here. This is a ZF branded transmission pan, but it's actually made by Heinz. So that's pretty nice there. What came with this pan is bolts and the fill plug. So we got that there. We have lifegaurd fluid 8. There are some different fluids that you could put in your vehicle, kind of personal preference on that end of it, but the customer bought this kit, so this is what we're installing on his vehicle here. And over here we have what I use to fill all these transmissions. So I've probably done hundreds of transmission services on these BMW diesels. This is by far the quickest and easiest way to pump it in. This is made by Motive products, so it's a power fill. Basically, you put all this fluid in here, you pump it up, or there's a chuck on the side, and you pressurize this, and it fills it up from the bottom. These have no dipstick or fill tubes on them, so you have to pump it in from the bottom on these vehicles. So we'll go ahead and dive into it on the vehicle side now. All right, so we are underneath the lift, underneath this vehicle here. So obviously, first step, take off all the belly pans. You really don't need to touch anything up here, but definitely after this subframe here, you have to take off this belly pan here. And I like to take off the longer belly pan on the side here. So you're just going to have a bunch of 8mm screws that hold that in, so we didn't want to bore you guys doing that because that's pretty simple and easy. So next step here is on these X-Drive vehicles, I guess specifically the X5 because 535D, it's all accessible. But basically you have this differential, this transfer case carrier in the way. So we have to get this out of the way because you got these Torx bolts that's kind of behind it. And it's just easier to get this thing out of the way. Yes, I have seen people jack up the transfer case and get to it that way, but you really just put a lot of stress on all the components doing it that way. So you got one 16mm kind of hiding above this exhaust here. So I usually like to take that off first, and then we'll go ahead and get to the other ones with the impact. And this just drops down a little bit. There's a lot of weight on the front of the engine that kind of suspends the back half, and then it's also kind of holding on the drive shaft back here. You could either drop it down like this and move this to the side and get to all the bolts, or you could take this bracket off. We'll just go ahead and take it off just so you guys see. Those bolts that I took off on this were a 16. This big bolt is an 18 on the back of here. That's one big bolt. While you're doing this, it's a good idea to check out this transfer case mount back here because a lot of times they like to break. So if it is broken, it's a special tool to press it out and replace it, but they do sell it on Amazon. But now we have full access to the transmission pan, which is great. So we'll go ahead and drain it right now with a 10mm Allen. It's really not too bad, doesn't look bad. While you're draining this fluid, you just want to make sure that this fluid doesn't smell burnt. If it's burnt and you're trying to fix some transmission issues, most likely a fluid change won't help you in that department. We'll go ahead and remove the fill plug on the side. just so that it could get some more air flow while draining. That is an 8mm Allen. Okay, set that aside. All right, while it's draining, we'll go ahead and take off the transmission pan. It is a T40 this time. Okay, we got all the bolts off. We'll go ahead and drop this on down. So our next step is to put some lubricant around this O-ring here, and also the pickup O-ring as well. So I like to use this Transgel Gold, and it's just nice to have this O-ring lubed up. That way it makes a nice seal around the transmission and doesn't put any bind on the seal as well. So we'll go ahead and put this up in the vehicle. We'll grab our new bolts. So what I like to do is put this big O-ring, this fill port, or this pickup, I guess, up in there first. Get clipped in really nice, and it's seated really well. And I like to get one bolt started. And then one in the back. Now we'll go ahead and do the rest of the bolts around the transmission. Okay, we got these bolts up in here. Now it's time to torque them down. The torque spec for this is 11 Newton meters. And we'll go ahead and torque them down. And I just put a paint pen mark on the ones I've done. So I like to alternate. There is a specific way to do this. We'll go ahead and put it up on the screen if you choose to do it that way. All right, now we got the pan on. It's time to put this transfer case mount back in its home. All right, so we got 7 quarts of this lifegaurd 8 fluid. It says you're supposed to vigorously shake these up. I guess there might be additives or something in them that needs to be mixed up. Good practice to do so. So we'll go ahead and pour this green smelly fluid in this bottle. Okay, now it's time to fill up the transmission. We put all these belly pans back on, got this mount put on, everything's all tightened up. Do not forget to tighten up the center support. Now it's time to fill up the vehicle. So I already took off that fill plug, and we'll just go ahead and put in our spout and turn it on and fill it up. So right now I'm just going to pressurize this pump. And we should see about 3 to 4 liters go in this thing before it starts spewing out. Once it does start spewing out, we'll go up above and we'll turn on the vehicle. And inside the vehicle, I will put it in reverse for 10 seconds, put it in drive for 10 seconds, shift it to first for 10 seconds, second for 10 seconds, and then you could shift it all the way up to fourth. You're not supposed to spin the wheels at all, so keep your foot on the brake. And basically it just allows the transmission to fill up those solenoids in there. And then the final step that I do is I rev it up to 2000 RPM and hold it there for 10 seconds, and that will fill up the torque converter in case any fluid did spew out of it. So yeah, we should see this spewing out any second now, so I'll get on the ladder and get ready to start up the vehicle. At this time, it's starting to leak out a little bit. We'll shut it off, we'll cap it, and we'll let the vehicle get up to temperature. Ideally, you want the transmission temp to be around 40 Celsius to fill it up. So we'll go ahead and let it sit, let it warm up. Once it's warmed up, we'll go ahead and fill the rest of the fluid back in it. All right, we let the vehicle warm up to 40 degrees Celsius. A good way to tell this is you could do an infrared temperature and hit the bottom of the pan, or you could go in on Pro Tool and see the actual transmission temperature of this as well. So we'll go ahead and take the plug out, and we'll just top it off with some more fluid. I like to have a nice stream of clean fluid come out, and then I cap it. Now I'll go ahead and tighten it up. All right, that's all tight. I'll clean all that fluid off with brake cleaner, and we can put on the transmission pan next. All right, we got the belly pans all on, everything looks great. Yeah, we're pretty much done with this vehicle, and that's exactly how you service an 8-speed transmission. All right, guys, thank you for sticking around and watching me do a transmission service on this BMW. Hopefully I helped you guys out in doing this yourself. This is not really something that you need a lift for. I've done plenty of transmission services on jack stands, so no big deal if you do it at home. Yeah, if this helped you out, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It really helps a ton. And thanks for watching.